Hello and welcome to my review of Sigismund, first captain of the Imperial Fists from Games Workshop. One of these models will cost you £54, totally worth it for this absolute legend. It's a multi-part resin kit, includes a 32mm gaming base and a 60mm display base. I'm not quite sure exactly how many parts Sigismund consists of, but it's a fair few. The format of this review is as usual. I'll have a look at Sigismund, we'll go through how easy he was to build and things. There are no spare parts, so I'll go straight into some size comparisons with other heroes and Primarchs, things like that. I haven't got Dawn yet, but no doubt in Dawn's review I will be supplanting Sigismund in there for his size comparison. And at the end I'll go through all of his absolutely incredible rules found in the Loyalist Legiones Astartes army book. So first things first then, this review is a long time coming. I'm not sure exactly when I picked up Sigismund, but I certainly released the unboxing of him over 2 years ago in 2022. So a few months before Plastic Horus Heresy arrived in June of 2022. I guess I must have got carried away with all the Plastic Heresy goodness that I didn't follow up and you know, crack out the review for Sigismund, which is a bit of a shame, but still I did review you know, another absolute legend, Corswain, for Dark Angels, so there is that. Firstly, what we're going to do is look at Sigismund and see what we get for these £54. I'm not quite sure why the lighting is super bright. I think it might be something to do with, that's better, the fact that the camera sees Sigismund's face as a real person. There's something to do with that, but yeah, let's have a little look. Absolutely lovely mini. There is green stuff because there are a few gaps and things. You can kind of glue him completely like this if you wish. His base is practically a Sicaran tank. They kind of include a full chassis for the Sicaran tank. I think this is one of the Sponson blast cannons. There's a random Mark IV power plant there and a Mark IV helmet. I might just paint them in World Eaters for obvious reasons. The interesting thing about this base is it's one of these where it's got a separate gaming base and then it's got the sort of scenic display base. So what I've done is I've magnetized this part of it here in two places. You can, you know, choose your places if you wish, and that just slots in and it keeps him a little secure in there. Doesn't move about too much. I could go over the top and put a little magnet in there and one there to really seal the deal. I might do that at some point, but I kind of run out of magnets if I'm perfectly honest. But anyway, that's the magnet on there, and then this is his sort of gaming base, and then this is the other part, you know, of the Sicaran there. So another good thing about not gluing it all down is it means I can paint all of this, you know, separately, you know, and paint him separately. But here is the man himself, the OG Emperor's champion, Unleash Sigismund. He's got his absolutely incredible hairstyle there, the sort of bald hairstyle. In this Mark III iron armour, I want to say it's more of an artificer armour really, let's face it, but he's got his bolt pistol with a little symbol there, little sort of Black Templar symbol, I guess. Power plant is lovely. His armour is nice and layered. He's got this robe type thing on the front. The sword, it says Imperator Rex on there. I don't know if you can see that. Thing is, there's so much detail on these resin models. So yeah, that may need a bit more of a bend back. I think I did originally bend it, but it's fine. I think it's okay as it is. I might bend it back a bit. I like the articulation in the hands. I like his sort of facial expression. There's just so much detail there. I like how his sword is chained to his wrist. That's very, very cool. Without going into any spoilers, there's a bit in Siege of Terror that involves the sword and the chain, and yeah, I'll leave that up to you, but yeah, it's very, very cool. He's got the Imperial Fist icon there, and he's got the rivets on the shoulder pauldron and this little bit of a iron halo. Very, very cool mini. It depends how much of a die-hard Sigismund or Imperial Fist fan you are. I'm more of a Sigismund fan than an Imperial Fist fan. I mean, Imperial Fists have grown on me a fair bit over the years, but definitely, you know, I do like Sigismund, obviously, you know, after reading the novel as well. So, no spare parts. You don't get a cool looking helmet for him or anything like that. He prefers, you know, no helmet whatsoever. He's up close and personal, you know, he's only got his bolt pistol, hasn't he, at the end of the day. Let me go through some size comparisons then. So first size comparison I'd like to make is with another absolute melee legend, which is Corswain. You know, obviously with the scenic base is going to be taller, but the gaming base again, if we just compare them a little bit. So yeah, if we just compare them, maybe if we just move Corswain up a bit, they are very similarly heighted Space Marines, but yeah, they're two absolute melee legends. Sword wise, not much in it, but Corswain's is a double-handed. Sigismund could easily use that two-handed if he wanted to, but that's probably about the longest you'd want for a one-handed blade. Corswain's is definitely much a double-handed one. But yeah, that's where they kind of measure up. Absolutely epic looking models. Then let's just reel in a third melee monster in the form of Lucius, the Eternal, absolute incredible swordsman. I don't have Khan, which, well, I don't have Horus Heresy Khan. I don't collect World Eaters. I would have liked to have had him for this sort of comparison at least. You know, Khan going up against Sigismund, classic. But yeah, compared to Lucius, again, similar sort of size. Lucius prefers his, you know, Mark IV armour, but I'd probably say there's more going on with Lucius's armour. There's a lot more filigree and things, but you do get that, I say, worse power plant with the Mark IV. I don't have Saul Tarvitz, so I can't give you a comparison with him. I do have Garrow, but he's nowhere near at the moment. So yeah, they're the three melee champions. And obviously there's Khan as well that I would probably throw in there, but these, in my head, lore-wise, these three are the sort of triumvirate of melee heroes for standard Space Marines. So that's where they all kind of measure up. Of course, I can't compare him to his own Primarch yet, but I can compare him to a model that's almost as big. That is the OG Imperial Fist Praetor in Terminator armour and the standard one. So the standard one has been left out in the sun. He started to go yellow. Hey, it saves me a paint job, right? Similar sort of size. I'd say Sigismund is a bit bigger though than him. He's you know, he's about right size for Mark III, but maybe it's just that pose, he's sort of swiping forwards. But compared to the McDaddy, this Imperial Fist Terminator is almost as tall as him, not standing on a Sicaran. He's huge. He's got to be like Custodes size now, hasn't he? His shield itself as well is almost as big as Sigismund. He's an absolute monster. So that's where he measures up to the Praetors. Yes, I haven't forgotten about Fafnir Ran. I know everybody likes to forget about Fafnir Ran, his old sort of chum from the dueling, from the assimilation pits, or whatever you want to call them, the battle pits. Fafnir Ran is, again, similar sort of height, size. One of the first and best plastic single character minis that Games Workshop produced for Horus Heresy, and I kind of, you know, our expectations peaked, because, you know, if we were going to get Horus Heresy characters in plastic like this throughout the whole range, then that would have been game changing. Instead, they decided to sort of revert back to what they've done in the past, which is change the vehicles into plastic, and the dreadnoughts and some of the troops, some of the upgrade sprues, but keep the characters in the resin. Much like we've had the apothecaries and a few of the consuls and things. And now we're getting some more characters like the World Eater's Black Shield character. So that's where he stands next to Fafnir Ran. So it's a nice little Imperial Fist force, slowly taking shape. After Death Guard, they are my army to be investing in, and then I'll finish off with the Emperor's Children and the new Fulgrim model. Compared to some standard sort of Space Marines from the Horus Heresy, we do have 4 flavours for you. So we'll start off with the old ones first. So this is the old Mark III. I'd say a bit taller than the old Mark III, which is nice. We've got the Mark IV. He's definitely taller than the Mark IV. The new Mark III, he is similar, probably a tiny bit taller. And then a Mark VI, which should be the same size. Yeah, he's a little bit taller than Mark VI as well. So on his own, even on that gaming base, he's going to stand quite tall. You know, taller than the other sort of normal troops and things. Definitely a character to stand out amongst your Imperial Fists. I nearly forgot, here is the size comparisons of Sigismund next to the usual 40k miniatures. So I have, might be worth taking him off there first of all. So normal sort of Space Marine, he is similar height, probably, yeah, very similar height to a normal Space Marine, maybe a little bit taller, especially in that pose. Primaris, of course, will be a fair bit taller, yeah. You know, there's this 7 foot to, you know, compared to 8.5. And then next to Slimarbo, yeah, he should be a fair bit bigger than Slimarbo. So, hope those comparisons have helped. As I said, there's no spare parts, so we'll go straight into the rules for him. Okay, so this is my part of the review where I will go through all of the rules for Sigismund. First captain of the Imperial Fists, Martial Champion of Rogel Dawn, Kingsbane, the Master of the Templars, Mother of Dragons. He will set you back 230 points. Oh my lord. So that means he's going to cost you more than a Land Raider. Totally worth it. He's not cheap, he's expensive, but you get your points worth, I tell you that. For starters, he's got the standard movement speed of the majority of Space Marines at movement speed of 7. His weapon skill though is a whopping 7. His ballistic skill, he's not the best at shooting, you know. He's got ballistic skill of 4. His strength is 4. His toughness is 4. So he's as strong and as tough as all the other Space Marines. But he does have 4 wounds, initiative 5, 4 attacks, leadership 10, and a save of 2+. So a big upgrade there. How does he compare? Because I know you wanted me to answer this, to Corswain, who is in my head number 2. Well, probably Lucius is, but yeah, Corswain can shoot. He's got a ballistic skill of 5, but the same strength and toughness, and the same number of wounds, the same initiative, same number of attacks, leadership, and save. Even the same weapon skill. So in a way, Corswain is better, because, as I say, he can shoot. But everything else is exactly the same stat line as Sigismund. War gear. He has Artificer Armour, Iron Halo, the Black Sword, Mastercrafted Bolt Pistol, Frag Grenades and Crack Grenades. Who needs a ballistic skill of 5 when you've got a Mastercrafted Bolt Pistol, right? Special rules, Legiones Astartes Imperial Fists, Independent Character, Master of the Legion, Fearless, Eternal Warrior. Now that's the big special rule. He's the only Space Marine that has Eternal Warrior, as far as I know. Adamantium Will on a 3+, Dolores Fighter, Death's Champion, Precision Strikes 3+, and Warlord Slayer of Kings Loyalist. Wow. So first things first then, let's talk about that black sword. It's a melee weapon, it's a strength +2, so that's strength 6, AP 2, it's two-handed, instant death, and master crafted. Now, you pair that with his initiative 5 and 4 attacks, and then you pair that with Dolores Fighter. Now, what Dolores Fighter, or Dolores Fighter should I say, means is that when a challenge is issued in any combat that includes Sigismund, Sigismund's controlling player must always accept that challenge with Sigismund. If the opposing player does not issue a challenge, then Sigismund's controlling player must do so and must nominate Sigismund to fight in that challenge. Additionally, when fighting in a challenge, successful invulnerable saves taken against Sigismund's attacks must be re-rolled. So that changes the whole playing field. He's got his 4 attacks, his initiative is 5, he's got the AP 2 and the strength of 6. His weapon skill's already 7, and then he can reroll because it's master crafted. And then once you've wounded something and they've taken their invulnerable save and they pass it, they have to be taken again. So there's a high probability that he's going to instant death anything. Well, obviously not Primarchs, because I don't think they can be instant death. But you see where I'm coming from, as him being the best because of the combination of the Black Sword and Dolores Fighter. You compare that to Corswain, who is only 30 points cheaper, and Corswain does have the Armour of the Forest and Mantle of the Champion, so that gives him a 2+ save and a 4+ invulnerable, but he does get 3+ invulnerable against, against close combat attacks. So that's nice. So that's one up from Sigismund, because he has the Iron Halo. But the blade for Corswain, same strength at 6, AP is better at 1. It's two-handed, master crafted again. It's got Duelist's Edge 2 and Murderous Strike 4+. So Corswain's got a 50-50 chance of instant deathing anything, whereas Sigismund outright instant death things, and then if the enemy passes their invulnerable save, has to re-roll it. Whereas an enemy of Corswain may not even get that instant death, let alone inflict it, and then your opponent is still using their normal invulnerable save. So this is why Sigismund is just the best. On top of that, he's got the Death's Champion rule, where any unit he joins gains a bonus of +2 to all charge distances and sweeping advances. And it means he can also take Templar Brethren squads as troop choices. His Warlord ability, the Slayer of Kings, means that when the controlling player gains 1 victory point, you add +1 to the total number of wounds caused in each combat for the purpose of determining assault results. But what also stands him apart is, of course, his other special rules, such as Fearless, where he automatically passes any pinning, regroup and morale checks. Corswain doesn't have that. Corswain instead has Relentless, where he can shoot with heavy or ordnance weapons counting as stationary, which is a little bit odd because he doesn't have any heavy weapons. I mean, he's got his bolter, but it's nothing special. Sigismund has Eternal Warrior, so if he suffers an unsaved wound from an attack that inflicts instant death, it only reduces its wounds by 1 instead of reducing its wounds to 0. So that's another survivability instinct. You know, you've got your normal 2+, you've got your 4+ invulnerable, you've got Eternal Warrior, which means he can't be insta-killed, unlike Corswain, who can. Sigismund also has Adamantium Will of a 3+, which means he gets his 3+ invulnerable save. against any wound inflicted by a weapon with a force or psychic focus. Corswain does not have that. Corswain instead has precision strikes, which just means that if he gets 4+, then that strike you can specify which model it goes to rather than normal wound allocation. Sigismund also has precision strikes, but on a 3+, and then they share their other rules such as independent character and Master of the Legion, things like that. So there are some differences. The Eternal Warrior rule is incredible. I don't think any other Space Marine has that. You've got the Dolores Fighter rule as well, where you're forcing your opponent to re-roll those invulnerable saves against the Black Sword, which is instant death and master crafted. If there's only one thing I probably would have added, because he is expensive points cost, so you are paying for him, is I probably want 2 profiles for the Black Sword. I mean, Sigismund, yeah, he's got so many different skills with Bladecraft that I probably want 2 profiles, a bit like an Emperor's Champion, whereby he's got your standard kind of sweep and then a strike move or something like that, whereby that Black Sword bumps up to strength 8. But as it stands, I'll take strength 6 with an AP 2. Again, would have been nice to get AP 1 like Corswain's The Blade, but still, absolutely fantastic rules, lovely miniature. What do you guys think of Sigismund? Do you think he's OP? And if you think he's OP, who else other than Sigismund should be OP out of all the Space Marines you can think of? What an absolutely fantastic unit. Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.